You know, today I needed to make a part two of one of the videos I made yesterday about my wife who went to jail for 65 days, came out and immediately disappeared and went on a drinking binge that we didn't find her for a couple of days. And a lot of people, the vast majority, were supportive of and understanding what was going on. But you know, I get a lot of comments like this, and I'm going to just kind of head it off with this comment. And again, nothing personal to this person, but a lot of people bring their own baggage to an event that I'm talking about, to an experience that I had. And this is not a cookie cutter type of situation. There are no two things that are exactly the same. And when someone is this far off the mark, a lot of times I need to address it just because if one person is thinking that, I know a lot of other people are, but I don't understand how the obvious contempt and hostility you had at the time would give her courage with something she was obviously struggling at. And the reason why it's so off the mark, when we picked up my wife from the jail, I brought her home. We actually had a banner saying "Welcome home" in the kitchen. She had flowers, and I was going to make a nice dinner that night. We were genuinely, my son and I were happy that she was home that night. So in response to that, she immediately got an Uber, disappeared, stole a card, I think, out of my wallet at the time, disappeared, didn't see her for 2 days. That was the response that we got. And somehow that gets interpreted to my son and I are hostile towards my wife. These kinds of things need to be understood, how off base these kind of comments really are. And on that note, if you haven't watched the first video, it was the one I made yesterday. It's the last video, first probably video on my page. I would highly recommend going to see it. So this video makes sense. The other point that a lot of people tried to make is when she disappeared for 2 or 3 days at a time, why wasn't I looking for her? And you have to have a concept of where you are as a family member. And you have to realize, I mean, she's a grown-ass woman, okay? And, you know, we don't know where she is. You can't spend all of your time looking for somebody when you realize they're just drinking somewhere and they don't want to be found anyways. It's an impossible situation. It's a point of complete exhaustion, and you know, you need to go on with your own life. Looking for her was probably something that she wanted people to do, and I wasn't going to play the game. Wasn't interested. You know, and again, I tell these kind of stories to help other families. They're not made for me. I mean, these happened years ago. And that's a lot of people don't understand. Long since moved on. My son and I have long since moved on. All of these videos are really designed to help other alcoholics recognize that the road they're going down, this is what they have to look forward to, and really a standpoint for families who do have an alcoholic in their family, and really realize that they're not alone. And you know, I'm sure some of these stories resonate, certainly, with them. And really, the last thing I wanted to say is, just to bring this all together, is my wife actually had 4 DUIs, and she was in jail for she had a third and fourth DUI that she got 2 weeks apart. So, I mean, she was really getting to the point where it was getting out of hand, and she was putting herself and other people in harm's way. And that's an issue socially as well. I think we need to consider that as well. It's one big part of my platform is I think, you know, DUIs are not a thing to be messing with. It's not something that's funny in any way, shape, or form. Innocent people die every day. On that note, unless you have lived in this type of situation as a family member or as an alcoholic, these stories are very hard to understand. And if you never have, having judgmental comments and comments that you don't really understand, it's just atypical of what society does to both the family and the alcoholic. And this is why it's so vital for education and an understanding of what's going on with this mental health disease, because it truly is a mental health disease and it affects everyone and makes it a family disease. And unless you've been through this and experienced it, it's really impossible to understand and really have a good foundation of empathy and a perspective that you should be able to comment on. If not, then you really probably should hold comments. But on that note, again, thanks for listening. Oh, and really, the last thing I want to say, I go live Monday through Friday, right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We have the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family, very good support group. And when you're ready to work with me one-on-one, click on the link in the link tree, go to the Calendly link, set up a breakthrough call. Call is free, and I go over the coaching program. Coaching program is not, but if you're ready to, heal yourself and your family, give it a whirl. And again, thanks for listening.